Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another Eddie Murphy movie review, and this time it is Meet Dave. Now, Meet Dave, where the hell do I start with this? One of the writers is Bill Corbett. Now, that's the guy who was one of the main people behind Mystery Science Theater 3000. But he went on, written interviews, talked about how a lot of things were changed. There were too many cooks in the kitchen, so he came up with the original idea, but the many cooks in the kitchen turned it into more of a family-friendly type of picture. I mean, it's rated PG. It's written by Brian Robbins, which I don't know why Eddie Murphy kept working with this fucking guy. Because Brian Robbins is the director of Norbit, A Thousand Words, along with this, like three of Eddie's worst fucking films. So I don't know why. Why? Yeah, it's the same director who did Good Burger, and I think Ready to Rumble. And sadly, I think those two are better than the three Eddie Murphy films Brian Robbins did. The cast, you have Elizabeth Banks, who would go on to be in films like Zack and Mary Make a Porno, Gabrielle Union, who I think she's a good actress, Scott Caan, the son of James Caan, who was in Ready to Rumble with David Arquette, Ed Helms, who would go on to be in the Hanover films, Kevin Hart, yes, Kevin Hart is in this film. And the plot, that kind of tells it there. A spaceship lands where the spaceship is Eddie Murphy. But there's a bunch of little people, aliens in it, and the captain is also Eddie Murphy. So yet again, it's one of those movies where Eddie is playing multiple roles, either playing the spaceship itself, trying to walk and trying to shake hands and trying to put on clothes and physical comedy gags of that nature. Or the crew inside consists of, like I said, Eddie Murphy also as the captain, Gabrielle Union is his number three, Ed Helms is his second command, number two, Kevin Hart is one of the people running the bowels of the ship. Scott Caan, I don't know why his character is even in the film. He's just a cop who he finds when the ship landed. It landed face first by the Statue of Liberty. Went out, left. Sometime later, Scott Caan and another cop come by because there was a disturbance. They realize something happened. He makes there's something he notices. Puts the liquid down, and it's an imprint of a face. So Scott Caan believes it's an alien. Why you needed this cop character in there? I don't know why, because it was completely and utterly useless and pointless. This whole subplot with this cop thing. Even if you like the film, you can tell me why was it important to any of the story or any of the plot. It didn't garner laughs, which is what a comedy should do. It was completely and utterly pointless. So, as the ship, this crew is from the planet Nil, and they're looking for this little orb because they're supposed to throw it into the ocean. It'll suck up all the water, and it'll be the energy surprise, surprise that critic like this liked the film. If you like the film, to each their own. But endearing fable, warm humor, yeah, warm as in a warm cup of piss. And endearing, yeah, as in, dear Eddie Murphy, please stop this horse shit. Go back to what you did best. Make good fucking comedies again. Oh, never gonna happen? Well, yeah, that's a fable, right? Eddie Murphy make a good movie again? That's a fucking fable. So yeah, maybe this critic is right. It's a warm cup of piss, still warm humor, endearing, yeah. Dear Eddie Murphy, please make good movies again. And fable, yeah. You think Eddie Murphy's going to make a good film? Yeah, that's a fucking fable with a capital F. It's also an F still. Fuck. Because fuck this movie. I mean, the physical gags with Eddie Murphy are lazy. You pretty much expect them see them coming a mile away. And it's funny how they don't know the English language, but yet they're talking to each other in English. So they must know something. The reason Eddie Murphy's in the white suit, because from a satellite, they saw "Deplane, boss, deplane" from the 70s, Fantasy Island, with Ricardo Montalban. The crew starts changing when they see different stuff. So one character, because they saw a show tune dance number for 5 seconds, he turns to a stereotypical gay guy. Oh, hey, girlfriend. Yeah, that. Kevin Hart, why is he in the film? He's a guy that when rap music starts playing in the headphones, of course, he's the guy who's dancing to it, or gets drunk, or sees one of his crew members go, "Damn," or "Dang," and the girl's like, "What?" Or gets dumped to a cup of coffee as if it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which even that part was pointless. Because that's in the third act when, I guess I'll get to that, Pro.com, the cop sees it, puts little Kevin Hart in his pocket, and just shows Kevin Hart tells Scott Conn where to go. And again, Scott Conn's character is completely pointless, and Kevin Hart's character is completely pointless. And they're not funny, they're not entertaining, they bring nothing to it. You could have cut both those characters out, and it would have saved the running time. I mean, it's an hour and 35 minutes, it still felt too fucking long. And the gags of, there's a point where Eddie Murphy and Gabrielle Union, those two characters, Ed Helms has gone crazy and overtakes it, so he sends these two out, and they're in the middle of the street, and they're this tiny, and one of the things you gotta dodge is a dog pissing on them. The ship Eddie meets, they're looking for this orb, and they meet Elizabeth Banks, and they meet her son, and they realize the son had the orb thing, so they're trying to find it with help of the kid. But then it's influenced by Earth, so they go to stuff like a fair. And at one point, there's a hot dog eating contest. And I see the hot dog, because it's a machine, just opens up its mouth, all these hot dogs. So we have a joke where the ship Eddie is in a bathroom, and they're dumping the hot dogs into the toilet. And then another guy next, and the shitter goes, "Show off." And this is a PG movie. And it's just like, do we need jokes like that? BS. Or the jokes of they don't know Earth, so Elizabeth Banks offers Eddie a drink, and Eddie takes a ketchup bottle and drinks it down. Or doesn't know how to talk, so he goes to an Old Navy, because we have an fucking Old Navy commercial in the middle of the goddamn movie. And they don't know how to greet, so of course the employee goes, "Welcome to the Old Navy," and he thinks that's the hi. "Welcome to the Old Navy. Welcome to the Old Navy. Welcome to the Old Navy." And then we got a scene where he goes in a dressing room and shits out dollar bills and coins like a printer out of his ass. This is the endearing fable. You know what? Maybe if the entire thing was in the point of view of these characters inside, and you had better writing, and not down, bottom of the level jokes. They actually have the writing of, say, Galaxy Quest. I mentioned that when I reviewed Pluto Nash. If you have the writing on the capable level of a Galaxy Quest, and you have this quirky idea of a spaceship and form of a person, but there's a lot of useless characters. Like, you don't need the little kid, you don't need Elizabeth Banks, you don't need jokes with shit in or dog pissing or things of that nature, or one of the crewmen becoming stereotypically gay guy with "Oh girlfriend, listening to Cher music." And you know it's gonna be that kind of movie early on, because like within 10 minutes, there's a joke where when it lands, by Statue of Liberty walks off, trying to walk, trying to smile. It gets hit by a car, and the camera then goes all around inside the ship. And one of the places to go is to Lieutenant Buttocks. And the guy goes, "Small gas leak, silent but not deadly." I seriously want to put my head through this fucking chair. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like Eddie Murphy, this is a guy who hates films like The Golden Child and Metro. Yet he's sitting around looking at scripts and looking at the scenes being shot. I mean, you have to think he has some kind of power. And he's letting this shit fly. And going, hey, maybe the humor could be better. But of course, he had a big hand in the Nutty Professor movies, where those movies are just fat jokes and fart jokes. He helped write with Charlie Murphy Norbit, which that was just an entire fat joke upon fat joke, and it was shit. Norbit is his worst film, and this is from the director fucking Norbit. What do I expect? What should I expect? You have Eddie singing because at one point, just Elizabeth Banks mentions, "Oh, you look like one of the Bee Gees," and Eddie, the ship goes, "Oh yes, the Bee Gees." Blah 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 blah. And he sees "Staying Alive." And then it starts learning, humans aren't that bad, or there's more to them. Helps the kid out at school, chats with them, learning stuff about love from Elizabeth Banks, because they look at her paintings and her husband who passed away, and her being a single mom. Or they stop by this homeless guy and sit down next to him, and the homeless guy gives him a blanket, and all this other stuff. And the crew starts changing, like I said, they start acting with more emotion and being affected. Eddie Murphy, Gabrielle Union, they love each other. There's their own get up to that. They watch It's a Wonderful Life. They go to the fair, Elizabeth Banks and the kid, and they go on rides and the hot dog eating contest. Helps the kid out with bullies. They get the orb. They throw this baseball at this game, hits the ship, damages it. They get put in jail after a trip to the hospital. Ed Helms, this guy here, again from the Hanover films, he's not liking this, so he decides to overtake the ship. Miguel Nunez Jr. makes a quick appearance for like a minute. There's Juana Man himself, and he was with Eddie and Pluto Nash, and Eddie just doesn't do well with sci-fi, it seems. I don't consider Golden Child sci-fi. That's more fantasy, mysticism. That's a different level. I'm talking about sci-fi. Because he did Pluto Nash, he did this movie. Both of them were fucking horrible. He just... God damn, man. So yeah, Ed Helms takes over, puts Eddie Murphy, the captain version, into his room, while the ship version, with Ed Helms at the helm, no pun intended, blows up the police station. Well, it doesn't blow up, but fucks up the police station, escapes. That's when Kevin Hart, for some reason, jumps out of the ear and lands in a cup of coffee, and Scott Caan looks at it and picks him up, puts him in his pocket. None of that was needed. Didn't lead to anything. Wasn't funny. Wasn't interesting. Wasn't clever. And then what? Eddie Murphy, W. Union get kicked out, and that's when they're on the road and avoid a dog pissing on them. They find this bag, float over to this windshield wiper, then that flings them to the shoe of the ship. They get in. They overtake the ship. They get the orb's been thrown in the ocean. They get it out. The ship has no power. The cops are there. Was that the only reason? So that the cop can be there, and you could have just had a random cop see this fucking vortex and say, "Step away." You could have just had that. You didn't need all the shit with Scott Caan. And then the kid's like, "No, don't do it." Tases the body, so the ship is now renewed. One thing leads to another. They get into a steep pod, and in the shoe and the foot, they leave, and they're like, "Oh, we'll find an energy source for our planet to save our planet in another world, so that this world doesn't get perished." People are like, why did you just tell the whole story of the film? So you don't need to see the film. That's why I do it, especially in rants. I tell the entire fucking film, so you don't have to see it. Instead of spending an hour and 35 minutes, you can spend 15 minutes with me. And I didn't miss anything. I didn't skip over much of anything. Scott Caan takes Kevin Hart into his pocket, puts it in. Before they leave in their shoe, the ship's tongue extends out, and Eddie Murphy and Gabrielle Union come out to say bye to the kid, Elizabeth Banks. And then they get in the shoe, they go and fuck off. The movie is lazy with its physical gags. It's with how the people change. The comedy's not that funny. The humor doesn't work. You have to go to fucking piss jokes or shit jokes, shitting out coins, shitting out dollar bills, shitting out hot dogs. You have to go to, one guy being stereotypically gay as one of the changes to the crew. And I would say Eddie's kind of phoning it in. Some people say kinda. It's just one of those things, part of you goes, was this even a good idea in the first place? A ship in a human form, maybe in better hands, better director. Not the director of Norbit in 1,000 words. Which I gotta get to that fucking film. Like, I can't believe, you make a film like Meet Dave, and then I gotta remember 1,000 words. It was like, it eventually came out 2012, but it was delayed quite a few years, so maybe he's in the middle of making 1,000 words when this premiered, so he didn't, I don't know why Eddie did what he did and does what he does. I don't know. It's okay. It's alright. There's something to live for. If you like the film, please feel free to tell me in the comments as to why. I mean, maybe if you're a kid, you're more into this film than me. Maybe. Maybe the idea could have worked if it was quirkier or crazier or edgier, which would make it even more interesting if it was edgier. If it was rated R, that'd be definitely interesting, wild, crazy movie. But we can't have that. They just go for the cheap laughs and cheap shots, and I don't like cheap shots. A lot of useless characters that were uninteresting, and I can't really think of anything that really made me laugh. I really can't think of like a joke that made me laugh, like a physical gag that made me laugh. Because if you think of like the bottom of the barrel or the beyond mediocre, you could probably pinpoint already what some of the jokes were before you even saw it. So maybe it's bad idea, or maybe it's just bad execution. Maybe it's both. Bad director, bad humor, bad jokes, and bad title too. I know one title was Starship Dave, because that character's name is Dave, which makes sense Because Meet Dave is just a lazy title. And then apparently the studio, Fox or whoever, said, nah, Eddie Murphy was in Pluto Nash, and we don't want to suggest any sci-fi in the title. Well, you don't want to suggest sci-fi on the fucking poster. If movies, if there's a sci-fi suggestion in the title, it's not gonna be a hit. This is 20th Century Fox. Didn't you release a movie called Star Wars? Yeah, that had sci-fi in the title. Star Wars. Just saying. Or other companies like Star Trek. They were hits. A chunk of them, more than fucking Beat Dave, which was a flop. People either thought it was a shitty idea, or they looked at the marketing and they go, what's funny, when the movie was, you can find this on YouTube, I didn't even know this until just now. Type Meet Dave like promotional material or promotion. They built a car that was a giant head of Eddie Murphy, and they drove it around as part of the promotion to this flick. And you just go, what were these people thinking, man? If I remember, I'll put that video down below where, yeah, they built a giant car head of Eddie Murphy and drove that around. My brain. People are like, why don't you talk about other aspects of the film? I have nothing to say about the fucking editing or the fucking music because you don't give a shit and you don't care and you don't remember anything about it. Because maybe that itself says something. Meet Dave. Meet my middle finger. Meet my sack. Put it in your mouth. Meet my dick. Now suck it. Meet Dave. You're a fucking doctor, man. Dude, you have a fucking headache talking about this movie. See you guys later. Bye-bye.